Hi, I'm Barry Sahazian. Today I'd like to talk about articulation for bass. And you may not think about it too often while you're playing, but I think most bass players are using some type of articulation. And what I consider articulation is long notes, short notes, loud notes, soft notes, accented notes. Subtle as they may seem, they can really make a line get funkier or get more emotional or softer, or all kinds of things are benefited by using them. And they are used by most bass players, like I said. The difference is some bass players intentionally use the articulation like I do most of the time, but not always. I just kind of grooved around to invent a line, and I would wind up adding articulations that made the line sound better without even thinking of it. I would just say, yeah, that sounds great. Let me do that again. But this is going to make you aware of it, sort of like ear training. I'm going to start out with the triad. I took this example from my book, Essential Bass Theory. I go through all the types of chords: major triad, minor triad, seventh, minor seventh. I'm going to take the first one on page 5, the first example on the first system, which is very simple, and I'm going to play it as written with no articulation, and it will be a 1-5-3-3-5. Quarter note on the fifth, 2/8 notes on the third, back to a quarter note on the fifth. Sounds like this with no articulation. As simple as that line is, you want to make it sound like you feel it, and that's important. And that would be called musicality. Musicality is how it sounds, the emotion in it, the feel, and the push, or whatever else you want to call it. So what we're going to do first off is I'm going to make the fifth short. Every time I hit the fifth, it's going to be short. All the other notes are going to be long. See what it sounds like. Let's make the fifth and the 2/8 note short. You notice how different it sounds, just with these subtle little changes, and that's what articulation can do for you. Give the character some identity, sort of. So we're going to play everything but the root short. Notice when I play it, I have to concentrate on executing the short notes where I want them to be and the long note where I want that to be. Now enter dynamics. That would mean play louder and softer in some notes. When I started, bass was a new instrument. It was a brand new world, and it caused a revolution, because what happened was all the professionals were playing upright bass at that time in my life. I don't know, it was 9, 10 years old or something. And then the electric bass came, and the electric bass was more dynamic. You could hear it, and he had an amplifier, so you could really push with it, and it was all exciting. And all of a sudden, all the upright players were kind of slowly not having any work, and the electric players got all the work, including myself. I worked constantly when I was a teenager, 7 nights a week, plus Sunday afternoon, 8 gigs a week for years, at least 2 or 3 years. And the rest of the time I did part-time gigs, and that was considered 5 nights a week, 4 nights a week. That was part-time. I don't know about it now. Gigging 4 nights a week nowadays is probably more than most do. We have dynamics, loud and soft. We have short notes, long notes, accented notes. And so there's a bunch of elements there that are in play that make your line have its own identity. And sometimes you add a short note in a line, and it could make it more funky or more dramatic. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to play, see what happens. I'm going to let it just come out of me. I changed the rhythm. I don't want to do that. I want to keep the rhythm the same. There's a few ideas. I just did spontaneous, and you notice the difference in each line. Same notes, just adding articulation changes the feel, the sound, and everything. And it's a great thing to understand. It's like ear training, because I was, at first, all I did was just play off the top of my head, And then I started to intentionally put short note on the third beat, on the fifth, or whatever, and then that becomes ear training and developing and composing, sort of, And it's a great thing to embrace. Try it and let me know what you think. That's about all for this video. Hope you enjoyed it and got something out of it. Articulation is a great thing to have a handle on. As I showed you in the video, it can make you a much better bass player, give you options to make your lines stronger and more clear. Also, please subscribe, hit the bell to be notified. Drop by again sometime, comment, let me know what you're thinking. If you want something special, I'll definitely give it some thought and consideration, and very possibly create a video for you of something you like. Until next time, keep playing bass, and thanks again.